And the free agency period for 2025 is upon us. What will the Tennessee Titans do? Let's wait and see. Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. How goes it, everybody? It's going to be super exciting. The Tennessee Titans were the worst football team in 2024. And let's see how many holes we can patch and see if we can maybe raise up a few spots and be the 30th worst NFL team.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording about how a lot of people that we had our eyes on was already getting franchise tagged or
just re-signing.
Re-signed, exactly. So already things are not looking great, but there's still a lot of talent out there.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Bergonzi even said the number one thing he's trying to fix right now is the offense and defensive line, which I'm not really sure the defensive line is what needs the help because I like Sweat and Simmons and used to be Landry. We'll get to that later. But like I used to kind of I think we're missing an edge piece, but I don't think the defensive line was something that needed necessarily really focused on. Now it does, but so technically he's only making this problem worse. But he said we need to fix the trenches first. But the right guard and the tackle that I had my eyes on, both off the market.
I had a feeling the Chiefs was not going to let their guard go.
No, but, I mean they just lost the Super Bowl because their offensive line could not protect. Yeah, and they only have two real starters on their offensive line. Why would they just let one of them walk?
Yeah, that was the smart move by them.
It was. I don't even know why we all let ourselves get seduced by the idea of him becoming a free agent and be like, oh, well, he played with the Vols and Mike Bergonzi, Chiefs, so there's ties there. Ooh, let ourselves get excited. Honestly, actually, to start the video off, it's just kind of sucked. It's just kind of sucked already, the pre-free agency period, because the number one guard that I wanted, Trey Smith, tag, not going anywhere. I honestly was really hoping for like a 3-year deal for Ronnie Stanley. Guess what? Ronnie Stanley, he's staying with the Ravens.
I think that was a smart idea by Baltimore too.
It was. So like, okay, if our offensive line's going to suck again, then we might as well have some good wide receivers. I wasn't all the way in because I don't want to pay 2 receivers top money. But like T. Higgins looks like he's going to stay.
Yeah, I saw that. That bummed me out too.
I mean, they're basically cutting / trading all their good, which is now this is a dumb move by the Bengals. Bengals might be bad next year. They're 2 good edge rushers, Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendricks. They cut one and they're trying to trade the other. So basically,
did one retire or did he retire?
Yeah, I think he was going to get cut, so he retired. Okay. That might be fake news, but he for sure retired. So basically, the Bengals, who had a really good offense and a horrible defense, they're cutting / letting go of all of their defensive players that are expensive, so it looks like they can hang on to T. Higgins. So it's going to probably be a lot of the same for the poor Bengals.
Yeah. How do we get on the Bengals?
That's right. I was talking about it being a rough start to free agency for us already because T. Higgins doesn't look like he's going to be available.
Oh, either. That's what it was. Yeah.
I feel like we would have overpaid for him, like with Calvin Ridley. But at the same time, we think about our outside receivers being T. Higgins and Calvin Ridley.
That's pretty good. And you want me to be honest? This is my opinion. I think T. Higgins is better than Calvin Ridley, so I would like him. But that didn't happen, like you said. So yeah, like you started off, a lot of people that we had our eyes on already getting taken off the board before the season starts. I would say when it comes to receivers, I was looking at a list of all the wide receivers. There is still a nice list out there. Now, none of them's like what you would call
people.
Yeah. But people that I think still could put up decent numbers, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we're going to try to go through every position, and some of them will be a little quicker than others. Actually, I started with quarterback. So with that being said, let's not start with quarterback, because if there's one position group that I think we should spend more time on, quarterback could be one of them. Running back, we've already talked about this. I'm not worried about running back at all. If we get a 6th-round pick at running back who's more of a sledgehammer for 3rd and short situations, bring him on in. I'm okay with that.
But so obviously that's not going to be a big signing probably. It's just going to probably be a big back that's supposed to get 2 yards or something.
Yeah, I mean, even Tony Pollard, who was most of our offense last year, was only making $7 million a year. So, all right, let's go to the retirement home and talk about some wide receivers, shall we? Number 1, Devontae Adams. What do you think about that fella? I think he just barely had 1,000 yards
He
between the two
did.
teams he played for.
I think he still has some juice left in him, and it depends on what he's running. But I'd be perfectly okay. I think him and Hopkins, him and Calvin Ridley, 1-2 punch. I think that would be pretty solid in my opinion. But again, it depends on what he wants because I think he wasn't bad enough where he in his head would be like, "Oh, I want a cheap contract." He may want too much, or he might want to follow Aaron Rodgers. You never know with that. But
I'll say if we get Aaron Rodgers, which is not looking like we will, but if we were to sign Aaron Rodgers, I would be absolutely okay with bringing in Devontae Adams, but I don't think that's going to happen. But his market value right now is a 2-year deal, $27 million, which is about 13.5.
That's a little high. What do you say? Would you like that?
A little high. It's $10 million less than Ridley, but at the same time, he is 30. He's 32 already.
Mm-hmm. I like the 2-year to be honest, but I don't like the 14 million.
Yeah, sadly, we'd probably see him fall off. Like, let's be honest. I enjoyed him. I appreciated him, but Hopkins was crushed.
Yeah,
he only ended up getting 600 yards between the two teams. Like the Chiefs didn't even really play him much.
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
Actually, it was frustrating too because remember we could have gotten a 4th-round pick for him if he would have played 60% of the snaps, but they were smart and they just played him less than that, about 50-ish% of the snaps because they made it to the Super Bowl. You had to play 60% of the snaps and make it to the Super Bowl, and they did the one, but which I think that was just well played on their part. All right, so I'm mostly out on Devontae Adams. Next one on the list, another old guy, 31 years, Stefon Diggs. What do you think about him?
I don't really like him. I think he's still a good talent, but coming off that injury, you don't know what he's going to be like.
I agree. He's coming off it was ACL tear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming off an ACL tear. My problem with him is I think he's a head case.
I do too. And I'm like, ugh.
I think he is so emotionally unstable. Let's put it this way. If we suck, whether we get a rookie quarterback and there's a lot of growing pains with a rookie quarterback, or we get an old-timey veteran, he's not going to get 13 catches like he did with the Bills.
No.
He should have
still was mad when he's getting that.
He was still mad with getting 13 catches a game with the Bills. So, yeah,
So
I'm looking at his market value. He's 13.5 as well. What do you think about
I still
that?
think he's a really good receiver, so I'm surprised that he wants the value is the same as Devontae Adams, but I kind of just don't want him. I think he'd just tear up the locker room.
I was going to say cancer. I think he's a cancer, and I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful towards Brian Callahan, but I don't know if he's alpha enough to keep someone like that in check. Like Vrabel would keep a Stefon Diggs in check. Mm-hmm. Brian Callahan, All right, how about this one? Keenan Allen, 32 years old, but he's 32. It says 0.8, which basically means he's almost 33. You want Keenan Allen?
He gets hurt a lot now.
Yeah, he's old.
He don't have any hair on his head. I think
No, he doesn't. I would only be okay with him if we brought him in cheaply as a number 3.
Yeah.
Like if we had Ridley as a 1 or 2 and then had Keenan as the 3, and then we had actually a nice number 1 or 2 to go with it. Then that would be a nice trio. Otherwise, he's too old. How about Amari Cooper?
Yeah, maybe. He's all right, but he didn't do as much in Buffalo as I thought he would. I thought he would be actually better than what he was. And he's getting older,
a touchdown against us. Yeah, he's 30 years, 8 months.
Yeah, I mean...
14. He's the most expensive of all of them so far.
Oof. Yeah, then I would be out for that.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. All right. Come on, you're being slow. All right, next on the list, Chris Godwin. Do you want Chris Godwin?
I like Chris Godwin. I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, so he's 29 years old. So with that, he may end up fetching a big price.
That's true. He does. He has been getting hurt a little bit.
$22 million a year.
Holy
Count me
crap!
out.
Count me out, because that's actually who I wanted the most to be on. And then wow.
Yeah, let's say if we're paying him $22 million a year, and Ridley paying Ridley $23 million a year ish. Those are basically high-end number 2 wide receivers. Maybe low end number 1, but paying basically $46 million a year to the two of them. Can't do that.
I'm out on that. Yeah.
Brandon Cooks. I don't want Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I think he was good, but I think he's
Deontay Johnson. We were talking about head cases. That dude's a head case. He got released by 3 teams last year. Oh, mercy. Tyler Lockett. I feel like Tyler Lockett's the same way I felt with Keenan Allen. If we brought him
Yeah.
as like a number 3 for cheap,
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah,
fine.
I like him, but like you said, he's not a number 1 or even a number 2 anymore. Definitely. So if we want to do number 3, I'm okay with that. But I don't know if he would want a number 3 kind of contract. You know, he might want more than that.
Yeah, I agree. The only other people, like there's some people like Josh Palmer for the Chargers, where I'm just like,
No.
I'm not really super interested in any of those. NWI, you were a pro
Yeah,
bringing him back.
I like
Okay.
NWI. I wouldn't mind him.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd, I think he can be gone.
Yeah.
Like we appreciate it, but bye. The only other names on here that I see that I would entertain, there's Mike Williams. What happened to him? I feel like he was good with the Chargers.
Yeah.
And then he got traded. I'm sure. Is it just the Steelers he played for? Or did he play more than just the Steelers?
I can't remember.
Yeah, but he just ended up just fizzling out because I think he even had like an 1,100-yard season the one year. But anyways, the only other one that I would entertain, but also I feel like it's kind of redundant, is Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Obviously he signed his 1-year deal with the Chiefs and then didn't play for him, basically, because he got hurt. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's just been moved around a lot lately, which is usually a sign.
$8 million. He's projected at $8 million a year. If that's the case, I say bring him in. The only problem is Ridley's a speed receiver, so I don't know if we need 2 speed guys.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is? That's the end of the free agents of any consequence for the receiver. So we both basically said we don't want any receivers.
You know what the problem is? Receivers want too much money.
They do.
None of these are top receivers, but all of them kind of wants good money. You know what I mean? So that's my issue.
I agree with you. So what do you want us to do with the receiver position? Because obviously you don't want to draft one in the first round, and you don't want to. I'm guessing you're wanting second round.
I guess.
But here's the thing: if we're drafting a quarterback in the first round like you want, that means we don't get a tackle or an edge rusher. So basically, an edge rusher for the second overall or second round pick, are you wanting an edge rusher? Are you wanting a tackle, or are you wanting a wide receiver?
I don't want tackle. There won't be probably a good start tackle in the second round.
So Nicholas Petit-Frere is your guy for 2025.
We're gonna suck this year.
I know. Sadly, I'm already accepting it. We're gonna be so bad. It doesn't matter what we do with quarterback. We're gonna be so freaking bad. Like I think our defense could be solid.
Yeah.
But like we're gonna be bad.
Because we need receiver help, we need tackle help, and we need edge help. But to be honest, now I think about it, edge is gonna be least important to me, only because our pass rush is gonna suck without Harold Landry. But I think our defense still has the potential to be decent, but our offense is gonna be bad if we don't fix that tackle or get another receiver. You can't go in a season with just Calvin Ridley and expect to be anything in the passing game.
Sadly. Yeah. Because Calvin Ridley, he's got a place, and he ended up getting 1,000 yards for us. He got 1,000 yards for the Jags. He had a 1,300-yard season for the Falcons. But I feel like he needs somebody else.
Yeah.
He just needs somebody else. He can't be the one to draw the double teams.
Maybe. This is a maybe. Roll the dice and sign Davante Adams for a 2-year, $13 million. It's a little high. But I have to also see what we do with this free agent money. Like I don't want to sit on it just to sit on it. But if we pay, more important positions with that money, and we don't have anything to pay Davante Adams, then fine. But if we have extra money, we have $13 million. I say get maybe Davante Adams for 2 years, $13 million.
Yeah, the only problem with that, I think he did say he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Did he say that? Good, I didn't hear that, but I figured that. So there goes that.
So I guess my picks. Go ahead.
Chris Godwin is who's actually I was thinking, but $22 million, count me freaking out with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm guessing my goal, my plan with because it's a bad wide receiver crop. Actually, it's a bad free agency group.
And a bad draft,
and not the greatest draft. So bad year to have high picks and money. So I guess is what I want us to do is stick with Calvin Ridley, bring back NWI to be number 4. I was ready to say Hollywood Brown at $8 million a year, but then we need a big receiver. Then we have to draft a wide receiver.
I
just
think
don't know
second
where.
round. I think that's what I would just do. Second round. We got a early second round, and so I think you could get good talent receiver. Just ask AJ Brown, Lad Conklin. You could get good receivers in the second round. So that's what I would do with that. I think I would draft a receiver in the second round. My humble opinion.
Gotcha.
And I say that, but then also, as you know, in the draft day, you have a plan, and then people start getting off the board, and you have to adjust to it. So you never know exactly. But as we stand right now, I say receiver in the second round.
Gotcha. Guess we'll see. All right. Well, let's move away from wide receiver because it's looking like wide receiver is doomed for another year. And this is another doomed position is tackle. Let's look at a couple tackle options. Right here, and here's what the biggest problem is. Even when Ronnie Stanley was available, Ronnie Stanley was left tackle. Cam Robinson, he was like, I feel like Cam Robinson is just like a league average tackle.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is he's left tackle as well.
Is there not enough right tackles out there, or does people just hang on to him?
I don't know. There's Tyron Smith. He's old.
He's old. He was good.
He's 30, he's 34, but left tackle.
You know what's looking like? And I actually think it's such a dangerous thing to do, but put J.C. Latham back to right tackle. I don't know if he would want to do that. He might be like, nope, this is my spot. But we know he knows how to do it, and he did it well in college. But you're right. Everything available, even in the draft, the best tackles are all left tackles for some reason.
There's 3 right tackle patch options where it'd just be a 1-year patch and we'd have to go back to the well next year again, which we might have to do because we just simply can't long-term fix as many holes as we need to. And you tell me what you think. There's Morgan Moses. He's like, he was good. His problem now is he's 34 years old, but he's a right tackle. That's what he is. And he'll be better than NPF. Let's put it that way.
Who did he play for?
Jets.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what they have his market value at. $2 million. I say bring him in for $2 million because he's old. Another one. Now this is somebody that Tyler Rowland is all over. He wants us to bring in Jedrick Wills. He's a tackle. He's been like a league average tackle, maybe slightly below average tackle for the Browns. But he's got familiarity with Bill Callahan. He's only 27. No, it says he's 25. He's only 25. His market value is sitting at about $2 million as well. I honestly wouldn't mind pairing up both those tackles. Bring in the old guy, bring in the other guy who's like, he's fine.
Battle it out.
And then whoever doesn't win it can be our swing tackle.
Yeah, that might be a decent idea because they're both cheap. It just sucks to me. I would say 3 seasons now, like, we need to fix receivers. We need to fix tackle. And here we are.
It's just 2 positions. I agree.
We still can't fix it. Every free agency / draft, we can't fix it for some reason.
I wish we would freaking draft a wide receiver high. Like, I really wanted Malik Neighbors last year. I really did. I knew how badly we needed to tackle. But I loved what I saw to Malik Neighbors, and he was everything I thought he would be. Yeah. Now, technically, we didn't end up having a chance to get him anyway. But I agree with you because, like, even when we get a receiver, we're getting Calvin Ridley. He's 30 years old, so I wouldn't be surprised if he plays this year and then next year, and then it gets cut, and then we'll need wide receivers. We have DeAndre Hopkins, old. Before that, we bring in Julio Jones, old. Like, we're not doing anything for our future, I feel like. No. All we ever do is just bring in just old people who maybe have a good year left in them.
We had a guy named AJ Brown. He was good.
Yeah, I wonder if the Eagles would be willing to trade with him.
I would say Treylon Burks sucking as bad as he did really messed us up.
I mean, yeah, because if Treylon Burks was just a good wide receiver, even if it was just an 800 to 900 yard season kind of guy, if we had Burks and Ridley, that'd be a fine 1-2 punch to me. But Burks decided to suck.
So bad.
Yeah. Back to the tackle market. One other guy that I'd be okay with is Trenton Brown. He got signed. Who did he get signed by? I think the Bengals. Yeah, it was the Bengals signed him. And he ended up getting hurt and missing almost the whole year as well. I would be okay with that because Trenton Brown, Jedrick Willis, Morgan Moses, all 3 of those would be way better right tackles than
NPF. That's the thing. When NPF is so bad, it's hard to get worse than that. So, yeah, I agree with what you said. Bring maybe 2 of those people in. So, one, you can have a swing tackle. And the other one, I think even if they're like below average, they would be better than NPF. I just don't think we could go into another season with NPF as our starter. We just can't do that.
No, and the problem, sadly, I don't see how we can draft a tackle high. I really don't this year. So, sadly, again, tackle's just going to be one of those positions we're going to have to punt it.
Once again, that's what we keep doing with the receivers and tackles. Just kick it to the next season. Kick it to the next season. It's like, what are we doing in this?
Missing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, technically, if you want to go back to 2020, Isaiah Wilson, we drafted tackle, sucked. The year after that, Caleb Farley in 2021, a waste of a pick. And then it was Dylan Radins, who was supposed to be a tackle. And now he's kind of been our right guard for a year. So that was kind of a wasted pick. Like, he was just fine-ish last year, but I still don't trust him or want him to be any part of our future. Then you want to go to 2022. That's when we wasted the pick on Traylon Burks. Then 2023 was Peter Skoronski, but he's a guard. And then 2024, we had Latham. So it's like we're kind of sort of trying to fix the offensive line. We just keep missing. It'd be nice if we could actually hit on a pick every now and again. And that's why the Titans are in the position that they're in, as we are missing on way too many first and second round picks.
And that's, you look at good teams, they hit those. And that is cheap talent. And that's how you go in today's NFL. And we just, older I get, and more I just pay attention to, not just to Titans, but other teams, more I realize, man, the draft is so important. It is more important than the free agency. But hitting cheap talent is so important. And like you said, Titans has just been missing way too many times.
Yeah. I mean, because here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having a great player. Either he's great for you, and then you extend him, fantastic. Or if you have contract issues, then you trade him away for picks.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we should have stuck with A.J. Brown, obviously. But technically, we drafted him in the second round and then traded him for a first and a third. Now, obviously, I would have much rather kept him. But there's no issues having good players. None. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all. All right, let's move to guard, shall we? Moving on to guard. It's looking a little dicey as well. There's like old people like Kevin Zeitler, 35 years old. I just don't see how having a 35-year-old does anything for us. So let's pass on a 35-year-old guard. What do you think about Mekhi Becton? He was the tackle who got transferred over to a guard for the Eagles last year, and I thought he played good.
I haven't paid much attention to him, to be honest, but yeah, if he played good, then that's good.
I mean, this is the Eagles' offensive line, so obviously he's going to be good.
The Eagles had a great offensive line, so yeah, that would be nice. Well, I like the guards, those. Usually you can get those pretty cheap, even a good one. So
yeah, I agree. But I feel like he'll be like a Trey Smith in the fact that he's like bigger since he was a tackle being moved to guard. He's bigger. So I'm absolutely down with it. Now, the biggest issue with him is he did play really well. So he's actually projected at $10 million a year. But I'm okay with paying.
Here's the thing. If you're a good guard, I can do $10 million.
Yeah, and plus technically $10 million is not that much. Yeah, there's some people saying Nick Westbrook-Akina is going to make $10 million a year. You know what I'm saying? So getting top of the line.
Yeah. Do you think that's high for?
I think it's too high. But $10 million a year for a really good guard, or $10 million a year for your 3, maybe number 4 wide receiver. I think the money is better spent on a good right guard.
Yeah.
Disagree? Agree?
No, I agree with you. I would love to get ourselves a good guard, because even if we have just one issue, just the right tackle, now that's an important position, but if you have just one issue, it's easy to plug that hole with tight end help or running back help or something if you only have one hole instead of like 2 different holes. So if we could get a good guard, I would feel a lot better with this offensive line.
Yeah, there's also Aaron Banks. He's like a league average guard, I feel like, for the 49ers. He's only 27. So that's kind of my options, either Aaron Banks or Mekhi Becton. Either one of those two.
I like the Eagles guy, and I'd be perfectly okay with that. But what I'm about to say, and I don't know if I think Titans might be too dumb to do this, but this is my opinion. You know what I wish we'd do? Put Daniel Brunskill on guard. I'd be perfectly okay with that. For some reason, we made up our mind he's central. And actually, to be honest, he wasn't a horrible central either. But I was like, put him on guard. And I think, boom, fixed, in my opinion. I thought he was a good guard.
Well, we need to bring him back regardless.
Is
because, yeah, we signed him to a 2-year.
Bring him back.
We signed him to a 2-year deal. And last year was the second year.
Bring him back. He was good with whatever we did with him.
Yeah, because he was our right guard the year before, and he was our best offensive lineman once Peter Skoronski had his appendectomy, and his surgery with that, and losing all the weight and the strength and the whatnot. So if he was kind of our best offensive lineman in 2023, before he got hurt because he ended up getting hurt at the end of the year and was trying to play through it. And then 2024, he came in at center, played a game at right guard, I think, and then played center once Lloyd Cushenberry was out, and he was still fine. He was fine. He wasn't like he's not amazing, but he's fine for only like $3 million a year. And it's always possible Lloyd Cushenberry misses the first 5-6 games.
Yeah,
of the season
I say bring him back and put him in guard. That's what I do.
Yeah,
but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, what do we know? All right, so that's what we're gonna try to do with this.
Again, my two options is to clarify the Eagles guy, or who was the Eagles, or Brunskill, and I don't know if we'll do either of those two, but that's my. Because the one thing I think Brunskill you probably could get cheaper, even though I think he's a good talent in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, he'll probably only command like $2 million a year,
which is I think is ridiculous. I don't think people know his worth.
Nope, they do not. All right. Also, make sure y'all let us know in the chat who's some names that you want. Or on the opposite, who's some folk that you're like, I don't want anything to do with them. Kind of like we were kind of that way with Stephon Diggs. Like if Stephon Diggs took a nice cheap deal, I would entertain it. But if he's trying to say he wants 18-20 million a year and he comes in here with his attitude, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. So, all right, moving on. What position group we going to? Linebackers. I say linebackers. I think we're screwed with those as well because I was hoping we would have cut Kenneth Murray by now, but the fact that he hasn't been cut, I suppose that means we're sticking with Kenneth Murray.
You know what's funny is I remember before the season started, I'm like, Gabriel, I just want you to know I think this guy's going to suck. And he sucked more than I thought he would. I just think he was really, really bad. I did not like him whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like he was basically Rashaan Evans, but maybe even worse.
Yeah, that's what I agree with that. I think he was a not as good as Rashaan Evans. He was not as good in the running game because Rashaan Evans could get some backfield tackles. He wasn't bad at that at all. He was just too slow in the pass game.
His issue is he'd sometimes hit the wrong gap, and then that would make a big gain. But if he hit the right gap, there were so many times, especially in goal line, he would just, as soon as the ball snaps, he would just get shot out of a cannon and make a nice backfield tackle.
So you could do something with him, and he would have some worth. Morley, I'm like, get him out of here, in my opinion. But like you said, we haven't got rid of him, so I don't think we will.
No. All right, let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Now, this is just me, and I think you kind of agree with me. I think cornerback is our best and deepest position
if healthy, but yes,
if healthy. So I am good on.
Yeah, I don't even know what the free agent list looks like, but to be honest. We already have enough money sunk into that, to be honest. So,
100%.
I say there's no reason to spend any more money on that.
Oh, there's Harold Landry. Should we sign him?
Let's sign that guy. I don't know.
Actually, let's talk about this. What was your whole input on the whole Landry situation?
Harold Landry did dip off at the end of the year. I get that.
Yeah.
He had a decent sized contract. I get that. But he's still one of our better players, I think. And so I don't see why we did that. And now what was already an issue is now just a glaring issue of, man, we won't be able to get after the quarterback at all now.
Yeah. Like, I know you didn't want Abdul Carter. And we can obviously get into more draft talk once free agency's over and settled. And then the draft is staring at us right in the eyeballs. But I liked the idea of a Landry, Sweat, Simmons, Abdul Carter, or if a really good guy falls to us in the second round, put him there. Like, suddenly, we going to be rushing a passer. You know what I'm saying?
I remember you saying that, and I don't want Abdul, but when you paint that picture, I'm like, that does sound tempting. But now they just ruined that to me.
But now Landry's gone. And Arden Key, 1, in the last year of his deal. 2, he's kind of depth as well. That dude's not supposed to be a starter.
I think it's safe to say he's just a depth player at this point.
So now we have no edge rushers. We have no starting edge rushers on our football team. And you just saw with the Eagles in the Super Bowl against Chiefs. You cannot win or beat these elite quarterbacks if you're not forcing them to throw the ball before they're ready.
Yeah, that is becoming one of the most important things to do, to be able to get after the quarterback. And we can't do that. And now we're even worse at it. So good job, Titans. What does the free agency list look like?
Similar to the wide receivers, where if this was 4 years ago, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe these people are available. Like, I'll tell you the first 3 people: Harold Landry, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa.
Yeah. See, Joey Bosa is still really good.
He tempts me, but and deep down inside, I kind of want Joey Bosa, but I feel like we're going to pay him like $18 million a year.
And he'll play
He's gonna
5
play
games.
5 games for us, and I'm like, oh, that would be the Titan
That's
of all
the
Titan
problem.
moves.
He can't stay healthy. I mean, like it's not just a smaller window. We've had a big sample size. He
Yeah.
can't stay healthy, but he's really good when he is. You know, I have no issue with his talent whatsoever, and he's not old. You know, like old. And
He's 29.
he just can't stay healthy at all.
He's been that way his whole career.
Yeah, he has been.
Has he ever played a full
He
season?
may have a couple times, but I don't know.
But even when he plays like 13, 14 games, he'll have 14, 15 sacks.
Yeah, exactly.
He's amazing. He's just always hurt.
See, here's the thing. I would say for cheap, bring him in and see if he gives us 5 games, he gives us 5 games. But he's not going to come in for cheap. He's probably going to steal a nice contract.
Yeah, my phone's being stupid. I'm trying to see what his projected market value is, but yeah, he's going to want too much.
But I feel like we're going to have to do something. Even if it's just a guy like, okay, this guy is just too old. You know, our pass rush is so bad now. We got to try something. You can't fix it all in the drafts. And so even if you bring in an old what you said, Helen, obviously we're not going to bring him back because we just cut him. Who else?
Khalil Mack, but Khalil Mack's 34.
Even if it's an old Khalil Mack, which again he's not going to give us much. But don't you say we just need bodies at this point?
We do, but
So
there's other names like Hassan Reddick. But remember what he just did last year, where the Eagles traded him to the Jets, and just for no reason he didn't play the whole year because he was having contract issues. Yeah, he didn't play the entire season. We're like, well, I don't want to do that. We'll sign him and then he'll never play. So that's terrible.
He should be rested though.
He should be arrested.
Yeah, that too. He should be rested. Like
arrested. Arrested. Yes, he should be arrested. He should be arrested. I'm like, I'm not sure it's a crime, but okay.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here. All right. Also, there's Matt Judon, old. Again, 4 or 5 years ago, if he was on the market, everybody like, ooh, but
I worked with a Falcon fan, and he said he actually thought he did pretty good last year. So
I mean, how many sacks did he have?
I remember looking up; it wasn't amazing, but he said that he still thought he brought good pressures and stuff. Like so.
maybe I'd be okay with bringing in Matt Judon if Matt Judon and Arden Key like flipped.
Yeah,
like whenever one was resting, the other was going.
Well, like I said, at this point, we need bodies. You know, it's like to me, we can't be picky in this spot because we got nothing. We have absolutely nobody. Like if the season started today, it's Key and who?
Jalen Harrell.
That's what I thought. You can't go into the season like you just can't. So even if you're signing an old Khalil Mack, you're signing an old Judon, you have to bring somebody in. And so honestly, out of those names, I say bring in Judon. This, you know, how does it say how old he is?
32 and a half.
32. It's 32. I say bring him in. Well, can you see what his market value is?
Yeah, I was trying to. My phone really is being stupid.
Harold Landy, he'd be good.
Market value 4. Yeah, for $4 million, get him in here. Come on.
We might need another old body. Just again, we have no bodies right now at that spot.
They should bring him and Joey Bosa in both. Yeah. And let's see. I wouldn't be surprised though if Joey Bosa wants to go play with his brother.
That'd be cool.
How fun would that be?
If I was him, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, that'd be fun for him. I don't think there's really anybody else. I mean, again, there's like Preston Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence, these folk who were really good 4 or 5 years ago, but now they're old.
All those people are old.
So they have Jerome Baker as outside linebacker. He is not an outside linebacker, and I don't want anything to do with
that name. Just
he was so bad first. He didn't look like he cared at all to me. All right, so what are we doing with Edge?
Well, here's the thing. Bring a couple old people.
Bring a couple old people. Here's the thing. Even if we were to stick and pick, or even trade back to 3 and get Abdul Carter, we still need an edge rusher. Actually, that would fix our edge. If we got Abdul Carter at 3, and then we signed Matt Judon, where Matt Judon / Arden Key kind of, want to give each other rests over there on the other side, then I'd be okay with our edge rush. Actually, it might be nice defensive line there.
Maybe, but then, maybe right. I'm sorry. In my opinion, I just want. We're not talking for draft yet, but this kind of ties together. But to me, in my opinion, I want a lot of picks if we're going to trade out of the number 1 pick.
So basically, you don't want to trade to 3. You want to either not trade or you want to go back to like 6,
7. Well, we get another first round, second round, third rounds. We get stuff like that.
Now, it has been taken off the table to trade back to 6 because I think it's where the Raiders pick, and the Raiders just traded last night for Geno Smith.
Unless they want to be
interesting.
Unless they want to be like the Falcons and get a Geno Smith and a Cam Ward or something.
Yeah. But I will say, what is the Seahawks doing? I feel like they're going into a rebuild for no reason.
Yes. Would you want to trade for DK?
No, he wants $33 million a year. We'll have to use probably a
He
third.
is really good.
Or
if we was a team that win now, I would say sure, I'd pay him that. Just go for it.
I agree. That's a win now move.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, because he's still fine. But again, he wants to be paid $33 million a year. So between him and Ridley, we'd be paying $55 million a year for 2 receivers.
We don't even know who's throwing the ball.
Yeah, I guess Will Levis at this point.
Anyway, we did edge rush. That's what I say is bringing Judon and maybe another old guy because we need bodies. So I would say Judon and Cleo. I would say I would be interested in going for Joey Bosa. It's going to be something that's going to bite me in the butt eventually. I know that just because he's going to play 5 games. Also, like you said, I could see him not wanting to go to us. But
yeah. I mean, there's no draw for him to come to us. But anyways, that being said, let's see. Inside linebacker, we already said we're screwed. It looks like it's just going to be Kenneth Murray. And then the one thing I hope they do is they let Cedric Gray have a chance to play. Because he missed basically the whole offseason. He missed the whole offseason with injury. And then they just, the whole time, they're like, oh yeah, he's trying to catch back up. He's trying to catch up. I'm like, how long does it take to catch up? Hopefully that's not just him not being good. But
yeah, that's what I'm afraid
we'll see how that goes. We both already said cornerback were good. So the very last thing before we move to quarterback is safety.
This is my plan here, okay?
Let's hear it.
And I think we both agree with this. Hooker. He's good. To be honest, I feel like he's getting better instead of worse. And I know he's not anxious, he should be dropping off, but I feel like every year I like him more and more. But anyway, so I say, what's his first name? Why is not coming?
Amani.
Yes, Amani Hooker. And then second, and I don't know if he would want to, but bring back Diggs. I like Diggs a lot, to be honest. I remember talking several times, like, I really like Diggs. And then he got hurt. But I said, bring him back. Now, I know he's old, but I think he'll want something cheap. So I think something short, a year or 2 contract for cheap, bring him back.
Yeah, it was only like $2 million last year.
I really liked our secondary when we had Diggs, Amani Hooker, and then when Diggs, I can't think names. What's the Chiefs guy that was Chief? Snead, right?
Legere Snead. Sorry, I was looking Justin Reed.
Snead and Luze, when all those was healthy, I really liked that secondary.
Yeah, actually, if I remember correctly, there for the longest time, statistically, they're still top 5. We have top 5 secondary. But for the first 3 or 4 games, our secondary was locked down. Yes, it was. Yes. Now, it helps we were going against an old Aaron Rodgers, and we were going against Caleb Williams in his first game. And then we're going against Tyler Huntley.
That helps. That helps a lot.
And Malik Willis. So that does help at the same time. There wasn't a lot.
Well, Malik Willis kind of lit us up a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He was efficient, very efficient, which we need to trade for him. Give him a little flyer.
That's all it should be.
Actually, I almost wished we would have kept him now instead of traded him because, with Will Levis being as bad as he was, he might have had a shot to play a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, safeties, there's a lot of good options. There's Justin Reed. He's probably too expensive, but there are the Chief connections there. Justin Simmons, which, man, I was searching.
We wanted him. We wanted
him so bad last year. He would have completed our group. Not that it would have mattered because the way Snead and Awuzie decided to be hurt. But I'm okay with either of those. I'm okay with Quandre Diggs as well. But I'm sure you've heard the Titans have interest in safety Javon Holland. He is probably the top safety or one of the top safeties on the market. The only issue with that is his market value. He was the Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
His market value, they said he's probably going to make between 15 and 20 million a year.
That's high.
Which is expensive. Safety, but apparently he's really good. He'll play either safety spot. He'll play box corner slot. Like, he's just really, really good. And here's one of the situations where I wouldn't be in on him at all. I'd just be like, I don't want it. We need so many needs. We don't want to spend big at safety. Let's look elsewhere. But apparently we've already expressed interest in him. So if we had him and Amani Hooker, watch out. That's a no-fly zone.
Good, but I just feel like there's better spots to spend money. But that's just
right. To me, yeah. So to me, if we get him, I'll be pumped about it. That's not what I think we should do. Yeah. I think we should, like you said, go Quandre Diggs again, or I'd be okay with a Justin Simmons.
This is just my opinion. I would say get Diggs. If we got him, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, okay, he's a good safety. But I would do something cheaper with Diggs, so then we could throw more money at that guard that played. I keep forgetting his name. That played for the Eagles. What was his name?
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, get him with some of that extra money and maybe sprinkle some money with someone cheaper at receiver to get extra body in there. Like, that's what I would do with the money. But, like, we got the top safety. I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I agree. But in the end, I think we know in our hearts we need to go cheaper at safety. All right, last position before we wrap this video up real quick. And I don't know how deep we even want to get in this. Quarterback. And here's what the issue is with quarterback. It's drying up. All the quarterback needy teams are drying up. It's looking like, just this morning, Tom Pelissero reported, Darnold's not staying with the Vikings. So it looks like the Vikings are going to give J.J. McCarthy a shot, which, I mean, they just drafted him in the first round, so they should. The Vikings no longer need a quarterback. They have Geno Smith. The Seahawks need a quarterback, but they're not trading with us. They're not going because I think they barely missed the playoffs. Yeah. So they're probably picking at like 16. They are not trading from 16 all the way to first with us.
I don't know if I would want to go 16, to be honest.
I would only be okay with it if they gave us every first round pick until 2035. Otherwise, yeah, that's not going to happen at all. Derek Carr looks like he's staying with the Saints. He's not going to be available. As of now, the Falcons are saying they're not letting go of Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins is no longer available. So I've always been a bring in a veteran, trade down, get picks, go quarterback next year. But as this free agency class of quarterbacks is just drying up quick, it's looking like our only options at this point, Sam Darnold or draft Cam Ward. So I've told you I've been just like right there in the middle, just slightly leaning towards trading down and going Abdul Carter. But I hate to say it, but it might need to be Cam Ward time in Nashville.
You could slap me next time you see me if you want to, because I can't believe I'm saying this. And I don't know fully what I want. But for the longest time, you as my witness, haven't I been saying, stick and pick, quarterback, stick and pick. I don't even care which one, but stick and pick quarterback, right? But something about it lately, I've been talking myself into getting more picks, which is funny because I was the opposite. And now I kind of got my mind made up that that's what we was doing, and I want all these extra picks.
So I'm
like, I almost don't want to stick and pick anymore, but you are right. It almost makes
who are we going to go to? Mac Jones? We're giving Mac Jones a year?
Exactly. If we don't get a quarterback in the draft, our quarterback play once again would be horrible. So we might go into a season with bad tackle play, bad receiver play, and bad quarterback play. You know what that sounds like? The year we just had.
And we can't rush the passer either.
Yeah, so actually we took a step backwards.
We'll know. We'll know here in a few days because legal tampering starts Monday. But we might just be awful. We might be so bad. Because I'll be honest, the reason I'm kind of starting to lean towards draft Cam Ward is there was two guys I want. I didn't want Derek Carr. I didn't want Sam Darnold. I did not want Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
And I saw somebody talk about we should get Russell Wilson. I'm like, that sounds so boring.
No, I'll pass on that one. Plus, he's a head case. He'll want his own office and whatever else. But there's two guys I did want. Because Kirk Cousins is one of them. I think he was like 7-3 as a starter. 17 touchdowns, 7 picks, and then he hurts his shoulder, I think it was. And then the next 4 games, he's awful, throwing picks galore to no touchdowns, and they lose all those games. He should have been smart and just rested him, or they should have rested him. I think he still has solid football. Kirk Cousins, I kind of wanted him. I was kind of intrigued with the idea of Aaron Rodgers, especially if that brought Devontae Adams in with him. But Devontae Adams are saying Titans have no interest in Aaron Rodgers. And then it's looking like Kirk Cousins is only going to be available with a trade, and that means we have to take on all that salary as well.
Yeah, I don't want that.
So then that takes me out. So I'm like, I guess Cam Ward. But then the problem is, and then we need to be wrapping this video up because we're 44 minutes in, but we pick at pick number 1. And then we pick again at 35. And we don't pick again to the 4th round.
So we're not filling any holes at all in this team.
And that's the biggest reason. Like, if we were to trade down, actually, if we were to trade our first and second round picks and have like 5 top 100 picks, suddenly we could get an edge rusher, maybe 2 edge rushers, fill both edge rusher spots with a first and a third round edge rusher, fill a wide receiver with a second round pick, maybe take a flyer on a right guard in the third round or maybe even the top of the fourth. Like suddenly then we're able to start filling holes. Because one thing a lot of people, I know Daniel Jeremiah said, and I think some other folks said it too, there's not a lot of elite talent in this draft, but there's a lot of starters in this draft. So that pick 15 to 60 is that happy place. Yeah. We have one pick in there, just one.
That is such a. You're right, because I could talk myself into getting Cam Ward. I really can, because if we're going to suck this year, we might as well have ourselves a new quarterback to watch, a young quarterback to watch. But like you said, man, if we get Cam Ward at pick 1, and then we get one pick in the second round, and then we're just done for such a long time. That is so much talent getting off that board, and we're just sitting there, just watching it all go away. You know what I mean?
Waiting for the 4th round to blow around.
That makes me sad, because I think Titans are screwed, and since none of these are good options, and that sucks. I would say back to more of the free agency thing. Sam Darnold, yeah, he had a really good season. You look at his numbers; that's a really good season he had. Now he the playoff game did not play well, but you always have to ask when you see someone like that, was that just a 1 year? Because you got to admit, he has been pretty bad his whole career. I mean, and he had one good season. It was really good. Because wouldn't it be crazy if we did sign him and then, he throws 30 touchdowns and 8 picks or something? We haven't had a quarterback do that in a long time. But was that just a 1 year thing with Sam Darnold? Do we really believe he's that good?
Yeah, that's what scares me about Sam Darnold. He's got way more years of mediocre to bad than he does what he had just then. And he just throwing to maybe the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver. Maybe.
Yeah, that helps. That helps too.
Yeah.
And I like the head coach. At this point, I like him better than I like Callahan. So I think I'm going to, with quarterback, go with Cam Ward, even though that's going to suck. We're not going to – if we do that, we're not going to fill many positions at all in the draft.
Nope. What basically means if we do select Cam Ward – actually, here's what the problem is. Whether we select Cam Ward or we trade down, we're going to suck. That's so bad. Because it got to a point where the end of last season where I'm like, this is the most – like I still watched all the games, but I'm like, this is the most uninterested I've ever been – or not ever been, but this is the most uninterested I've been watching a Titans game in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. It was just miserable.
Now, the one good thing why you would make a case for getting Cam Ward, even if he was 1-7, you would not be watching every snap, watching Cam Ward every throw. See if he's growing. Why are you smiling?
I was going to say, probably watching it to be like, so my question is, should we give him the old Josh Rosen treatment where we draft him and then next year we draft again quarterback?
Well, because we'll be able to. We're probably going to be picking 1 and 2 again.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, it's very tempting because I think we're going to suck no matter what we do. We trade the number 1 pick, get a bunch of picks, and then next year get the number 1 or 2 pick again. We'll think about all that talent we'll be able to bring in.
Whatever we do, I think we're going to be wrong. Whether we end up trading out of the pick or whether we stick in pick, whatever we end up doing, it's going to be wrong.
Yeah, you can count the Titans doing that. I just say, as a Titan fan, we're in a tough spot right now because I think no way you slice and dice it, we're not going to be good next season, in my opinion. I think if we make the right picks with the picks that we have, if we do trade out of it, if Cam Ward turns out to be decent, I think we could turn around decently fast. Like 2 years from now, we could be good if we do hit with our picks and all that stuff. But I don't see any way that we could be decent this year coming up. I know that's very bleak, but that's my opinion.
I agree, and that's another issue that kind of makes me think not take a quarterback, because if we take Cam Ward and then we're bad, I think Callahan's done. Like, I think Callahan's going to be done either midway through the season or just after the season, best case scenario for him. So then you're like, well, now suddenly you got a year 2 quarterback with his second head coach already.
Which I hate those
situations. Because you'll technically have the original Brian Callahan coach, and if Brian Callahan gets fired during the season, then suddenly he's going to have a interim head coach that's going to be in. Then if we don't hire the interim coach, which whoever it is, I'm sure I don't want us to hire him for 2026, then suddenly it's kind of almost like his 3rd head coach in 1 season, basically.
Yeah.
Before his 2nd season starts. So
you almost talked me out of Cam Ward.
Yeah. And that's
I
one of the
don't know.
reasons. But that was back when people actually had Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward as like even talents there. That was my biggest reason with not getting Shedeur Sanders. People are like, Shedeur Sanders will fit into Callahan's offense really well. I'm like,
But he's not
what
gonna be
makes
around
you
here.
what makes you think Callahan's going to be around all that long? So,
And that's just to me a bad spot to be on a team when you almost the head coach doesn't matter right now because you know he's gonna be gone, and not this season but the next. You just know he's gonna be gone. So we're just gonna have a new head coach.
yeah, I feel bad for him. Nice guy, but has there ever been a more pre-fired coach?
Yeah, I'm sure there has been, but yes, you're right. He's almost like his seat's not hot. He's basically got his bags packed, just ready to be kicked out.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too comfy if I were you, buddy boy. I wouldn't even put up a picture of your family on your desk. Wow. But that being said, this is the longest video I think we've ever done. We're up to 50 minutes long. Yeah, because we could sit here and talk.
We ended it kind of a depressing way, though.
We did.
We're like, we suck.
Actually, let's be honest. We were kind of depressed the whole video because we're just like, there's no one to get at tackle, so our tackles are going to suck. There's not really anybody to get at wide receiver, so our wide receivers are going to suck again. I don't really want Cam Ward because he's going to suck because if the Titans pick him, he's going to suck. And then I also feel like we don't have any good free agent quarterbacks to go after. So basically, we were very depressed the whole video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know. I'm a very highly opinionated man, but right now I don't know what I want to do with the quarterback position specifically. I just don't know. I really don't.
I agree, and that's exactly where I'm at because every single year I am super duper opinionated on what we should do. Like with a passion. It's like in 2015, I was like Mariota all day, every day, never Jameis. Let's get him, and we got him. I was happy. The year after that, I was actually a Jalen Ramsey guy, and then we ended up trading out. But then the year after that, I was like Corey Davis. I want Corey Davis, not necessarily at 5, but I was like Corey Davis beating the table for him. The 2018 Harold Landry, that's who I wanted, but which we end up getting. So like every single year, I always have somebody or a player or two or a thing that I really want to happen. This year, I'm just so like it doesn't even matter. We're gonna suck whatever we do. So I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Yeah.
We should see. Like you said, I'm sure whatever we do, it's going to probably be the wrong pick, but you can be assured of that. But we shall see. All we can do is sit there and watch. And if we pick out of it, I'm not going to be mad. We got a bunch of picks. But if we get Cam Ward, then I'm going to be a big Cam Ward fan. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if whatever we do, I'm going to try to be excited. Whether we end up getting Abdul Carter, I'm like, yes, this might be the best pass rusher we've had since Javon Curse. If we end up getting Cam Ward, then I'm like, all right, we got a new quarterback, the number 1 quarterback in the draft. Let's rally around him. Let's try to be excited about him. Even if we get, I'm going to regret this. Even if we get Travis Hunter.
Oh, don't say that.
He's really trying to sell himself as a wide receiver. So if we bring him in and suddenly he's Justin Jefferson, I'll try to be excited about him.
He wants to be wide receiver because that pays better.
Yeah, it does. That's a lot better. Plus, you get more action. A lot of times, good cornerback game. Like L'Jarius Sneed, if you look at L'Jarius Sneed when he was playing his elite football with the Chiefs, he had almost no stats. He just had a couple tackles. That's all he'd have because no one's throwing his way. But yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, whatever we end up doing, which is supposed to be free agency, and here we were talking about the number 1 pick. Whatever we end up doing with the draft, I'm going to rally around, try to be excited, whatever it is, unless we do something like trade down to 5 and then pick like a defensive lineman. Like there's a really good defensive tackle in there. It's supposed to be good. I forget his name right now. If we get him, then I'll be like, all right, somebody shoot me in the head. But that being said, I think we can go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for joining in. It's been another fantastic and mildly depressing episode of the Titan Bros. Peace out and all that jazz.